हेलो है?
चलो ठीक है अच्छा घर आए थे अच्छा आपको उधर रूम मिल गया ना ठीक है ठीक चलो हम बात में
हाँ कुछ लोग नहीं थे चीफ
पोइट्री तो बाद में देंगे ना ये पहले
हाँ बाद में
तो मोमेंटो पहले देंगे फिर उसके बाद पोइट्री ना
हाँ तो ठीक है वो जब उसको मोमेंटो के टाइम पे देंगे
ठीक है
देंगे, इसके बाद देंगे। आ जाओ। On the way. He's coming. May I request Dr. Adish Agrawala, President SCBA, and Mr. Sukumar Patjoshi, Vice President SCBA, to kindly escort to the dais Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Masih, Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Honorable Mr. Justice Prasanna Bhalachandra Varale, Judges Supreme Court of India, and Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India. Yuga, on the dais. बोल दिया May I request Mr. Bibhu Shankar Misra to present a sapling to Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India. May I request Mr. Vikas Gupta to present a sapling to Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, the Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. Manish Goswami to present a sapling to Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Masih, the Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. Upendra Misra to present a sapling to Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. Anil Nisani to present a sampling to Honorable Mr. Justice Prasanna Bhalachandra, Varale, Judge Supreme Court of India. May I request Mr. Chanchal Ganguly to present a sapling to Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India. I welcome Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India, family members of Honorable Judges, Honorable retired Judges of Supreme Court of India, Honorable Judges of High Courts, Mr. R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, Mr. Tushar Mehta, Learned Solicitor General of India, Mr. Adis Agrawala, President SCBA, Mr. Sukumar Parjoshi, Vice President SCBA, Mr. Arjit Prasad, Mr. Narendra Hooda, Mr. Wasim Kadri, Mr. Dinesh Goswami, London Law Officers, Mr. Manoj Misra, President ISKORA, Mr. Snehasis Mukherjee, Vice President ISKORA, Mr. Manan Kumar Misra, Chairman Bar Council of India, Mr. P.H. Parikh, Mr. Vikas Singh, Mr. Rakesh Khanna, Mr. Pradeep Rai, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, Mr. Ardhindu Kumar, Mauli Kumar Prasad, Ms. Neena Gupta, Mr. Sombir Deswal, Ms. Aninta Pujari, Mr. Atul Kurerkar, Learned Secretary General, Supreme Court of India, other registrars, senior members and members of the bar. Very good evening to all of you. We have gathered here not just as legal professionals, but as a community to extend our sincere congratulations to the esteemed newly elevated Honorable Judges of Supreme Court of India. This felicitation is an honor from the bar for their tireless dedication of upholding justice, interpreting the law, and safeguarding the principles and form the fundamental of our Constitution. Now, may I request Mr. Sukumar Parjoshi, Vice President SCBA, to kindly deliver his welcome address.
Good evening. Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, the Chief Justice of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine, Judge Masih, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge Supreme Court of India, Honorable Mr. Justice Prasanna Bhalachandra Varale, Judge Supreme Court of India. Sir, for you, in fact, this function is arranged, and we are here only because of your presence in the Supreme Court now, sir. Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Sri R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General for India, law officers present, Mr. Dr. Adis Agarwal, President SCBA, my colleagues, Rohit Sharma, Secretary, and Rohit Pandey, Secretary, and all others, Mr. Manoj Misra, President SCORA, and his colleagues, who I'm not seeing any of them here, Mr. Pradeep Rai, Mr. P.H. Parikh, Mr. Rahul Kaushik, all others who are present, my colleagues, seniors, Mr. Kurekar, who is always here and supportive to us, the members of the Registry of the Supreme Court, our staff members, and SCBA staff. Today, in fact, I'm extending a warm welcome on behalf of the EC to felicitate the newfound jewels who have been installed in the Temple of Justice by the, in fact, selection by the Johari, headed by Justice Chandrachud and the collegium members. In fact, this treasure hunt this time, I think, are very rare 4 jewels have been found. Sir, in fact, you have always done this for this institution, and the collegium is very, very vigilant and painstakingly searching for talents from all over the country, and now they have found 4 jewels. And not only this, So in the same time, also, sir, in fact, there are other persons, the devotees, the sadhakas, 56 of them you have selected, sir, now, in fact, as senior advocates. So I think this is a treasure hunt which is a very long haul. With the increase in strength of the judges in the Supreme Court, in fact, this is, I think, a very happy time is going to start for the country in the justice dispensation system. Sir, in fact, after this find, also the 900 crores you have got, probably you'll utilize for utilizing the talents you have selected from all over by, now this is felicitation, by providing facilities for the bar, for the judges, for the courtrooms, for everything else, and also the promised mini hospital probably, sir, with that. Sir, again, sir, this is for the first time, and our very active secretary, whose name I misspelled earlier, Rohit Pandey, in fact, has taken a leaf from your book, sir, and now this time this invitation is in all languages, sir, for this function for the first time. Many languages, sir, and this was in fact a cue from taking from you, sir, your leadership. In fact, it is followed by Yugandhara Pawarjha and Anil. In fact, Anil Nisani, they were in fact behind this for sending the invites in different languages to all our members. Sir, lastly, like all other times, this time also, sir, while welcoming Justice Sharma, Justice Masih, Justice Mehta, and Justice Varale, I say, sir, that their wealth of experience, their talent, and the variety, like Sir Justice Sharma comes from a academically inclined background, and the set of parents were professors. Justice Masih comes from such a background, and in fact, the judgments are, if any indications, in fact, he touches everyone's life. And so with that kind of experience, he's coming here. Justice Mehta, we are happy that you are a bar leader, so you know the problems and nuances of the bar, and probably you will be contributing to develop the practice base for young lawyers as an example and guide them. Justice Varale, coming from a background, you inspire each and every person who aspires to be in the profession and be a judge later. I wish all of you a very happy tenure here in the Supreme Court, and also I'm sure that the satisfactory level of cooperation from the members will be received by all of you, and also from the senior members of the bench, you will get the adequate guidance for contributing the cause of justice and practicing constitutional morality during your tenure, and that is how I think you will have a successful tenure. That's what we expect, and the bar expects all of you to be examples in inspiring examples to inspire all our young members of the fraternity. With this, I again welcome you all and stop at that.
Thank you, sir. May I request the mentor to the legal fraternity, Mr. R. Venkatramani, Learned Attorney General for India, to kindly deliver his address.
I tried to count the number of elevations made after I became Attorney General, and I thought I'm going to pat myself on my back that during the period when Chief Justice in the Collegium has brought in probably more than 15 to 16 Hon'ble judges in the period of 1.5 years. I feel absolutely happy about it. I wanted to share my feelings of joy and affection that the court is now not only full, but is full in more than one sense. I just wanted to, to talk about all the four judges at the same time, I must practice distributive justice. I can't be talking about them in a way which I have not understood them. But I try to look into their judgments and look into their career, past career, and their trajectory of lives. Each one of them bring here, as we see, like every judge who comes to the Honorable Court, bring with them a very special talent, understanding, experience, and a certain trajectory of life which adds to the richness of this court. And that's what we gather every time we greet a judge to celebrate their induction into the court. So I was going to remind myself when Chief Justice Bhalachandra was elevated, I was asked to write an article about the elevation event. I thought what I wrote at that point of time, looking back more than 15 years ago, makes some sense today, and I thought I'll read a few parts of that article which I wrote. And I titled the article Sociology of Elevations. So the person who asked me to write an article will say, celebrate the event of this Balakrishnan coming into this court as a great event. For the nation is celebrating something very important. But I think every time we celebrate honorable judges coming to the court, we do it for more than one reason. It's in that context I thought, let me read only a few paragraphs and say if what I am thinking today and what I thought that day was make sense for this court to be the People's Court of India. Somebody writing about Lord Denning said this, I quote, it's of more than passing interest to know what kind of men and women judges are with us, since their power to affect our lives is awesome. It's regarding to view them against the social background and preoccupations of their age. And again, Swami Vivekananda, in a different context, he wrote this, the idea of privilege is a bane of human life. Two forces, as it were, constant at work, one making caste, other breaking caste. In other words, the one making for privilege, the other breaking down privilege. And when privilege is broken down, more and more light and progress come to a race. This struggle we see all around us. Of course, there is the first brutal idea of privilege, that is the strong over the weak. There is the privilege of wealth. If a man has more money than another, he wants little privilege over those who have less. There is a still subtler and power privilege of intellect. Because one man knows more than others, he claims more privilege. The idea that one is born superior to another has no meaning in Vedanta. That between two nations, one is superior and the other inferior has no meaning whatsoever. The work of so-and-so is therefore to break down all these privileges. If I look at the elevations over a period of time, I think it's a breakdown of all privileges. And I must celebrate the breakdown of all privileges. And in the context, I, as the head of the bar, welcome all the four honorable judges. And they will remain here even after the tenure of my office. I'm sure they will continue to be great examples of what the breaking down of privileges will be a part of the history of this court. Now, I'll conclude a few more parts of the article which I wrote, because I thought it's there's a context in which I wrote that. If you examine the legal profession and the institutions of justice from the above backdrop, we will still notice startling features. What generally obtains in the society as regards access to social benefits and advantages, to education and the management of power, and the attempt to keep them in the preserves of the economically and socially well-nourished, can also be seen in the organization and practice of the legal profession. The prevalence of hierarchies within the profession and the monopolization of the higher reaches with the creamy layers has serious consequences for the underprivileged of all castes and deprived sections of the community. The legal profession, as it is structured in contemporary times and the grips of very powerful people, does not appear to be open to the idea of creating and participating in the means of promotion and identification of talent at the less fortunate levels struggling to eke out meager existences with the insignificant morsels of the professional loaves. I quote. I think I think that what I wrote at that point of time continues to make sense even today. But then what makes it more important is that we see that, as I talked about the breaking of privileges, let it continue to happen as often as possible, and more often as it ought to happen in our country, that the highest court of the country will bring in such people who are felicitating today. I congratulate and welcome each and one of the honorable judges who are part of what I may call the breakdown of privileges happening in our country. And I thank the Bar Council, Bar Association to have this event as often, as more as possible to celebrate this event. I think as we celebrate it, we become part of a very different way of looking at the profession, way of looking at the institution, and the way of looking at administration of justice. So let me conclude my thought for the day with this, and thank you so much.
Thank you, sir, for your kind words. May I request Dr. Adis Agarwala, President SCBA, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable Justice Gavai is watching me. Whether I will be also taking the names of all, I will not. Because it takes 2 minutes. So we have assembled today to celebrate the presence of 4 of the finest legal luminaries on the bench of the Supreme Court of India, Mr. Justice Satish Chandra Sharma, Mr. Justice Augustine George Masih, Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, and Mr. Justice P.B. Varale. All these honorable judges have had a vast judicial career. They have contributed to the growth of law through their judgments. The one thing common among them is that all of them have touched the lives of common men and have made an impact by their decisions. The honorable judges are known for their intellect and uncompromising hard work. I want to make a special reference about Justice Sandeep Mehta. Justice Mehta was first elected as member of Bar Council of Rajasthan in 2003 when I was the Vice Chairman of Bar Council of India, and later he was elected Vice Chairman and Chairman of Bar Council of Rajasthan. For finding such talent as these honorable judges and for bringing them to the benches of the Supreme Court, full credit goes to the Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, and other collegium members of that time, namely Mr. Justice S.K. Kaul, Mr. Justice Sanjeev Khanna, Mr. Justice Bhushan Ramakrishna Gavai, Mr. Justice Surya Kant, and Mr. Justice Anuradha Bose. The honorable judges will be greatly contributing to the judicial system with their experience and knowledge, as they have been doing in the high courts earlier. Our Chief Justice, Justice Chandrachud, with the active support of all distinguished judges of this apex court, has taken the Supreme Court of India to new heights. He has grip over the administration and is polite in speaking to lawyers and litigants. On the judicial side, he is equally firm and fair. It is indeed a delight for every lawyer to appear in his court. I am happy to point out that our demand for providing chambers and cubicles, medical and life insurance to every regularly practicing member will be fulfilled in the near future. Already a plot at measuring 1.33 acre has been allotted to the Supreme Court, and we are also trying to get an adjoining plot at measuring 5 acres. The Honorable Chief Justice, and that has been accepted. Now, Mr. Rohit Pandey ji has pointed out. So much obliged. And on the Honorable Chief Justice and members of the Building Committee of Supreme Court and the Honorable Prime Minister and Union Law Minister are supportive of our needs and requests. We believe that our demands can be met from the bench and with the government with persuasion and not by confrontation. Lastly, I want to say, in felicitating the new honorable judges, I am joined by all members of the Supreme Court Bar Association. Without their unflinching support, I would not be standing here. I was overwhelmed that on 27th January 2024, the Supreme Court Bar Association organized the National Conference on Advocates Protection Act at V.K. Krishna Menon Auditorium, New Delhi, which was attended by the chairman, vice chairman, and members of Bar Council of India and State Bar Councils and High Court Bar Association and District Bar Association. The guests included the chairman, vice chairman, and executive chairman of the Bar Council of India and different state bar council. You will be pleased to know that our honorary Secretary, Mr. Rohit Pandey, has issued this function circular in different Indian languages, including Hindi, Urdu, Kannada, Bengali, Marathi, Assamese, just like the judgments will now be translated in different languages for greater outreach. Thank you. Jai Bharat.
Thank you so much, sir. Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chand Sharma, he was born on 30th November 1961 at Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh, in the family of teachers. His father, Dr. B.N. Sharma, was a renowned professor who later on became the Vice Chancellor of Barkatullah University, Bhopal. His mother, Srimati Santi Sharma, was also a teacher and the principal of Maharani Lakshmibai Higher Secondary School, Jabalpur. He naturally has a very refined mind, which is reflected in his personality. He had a very successful professional life as a lawyer, and comparatively, at the age of just 42, he was designated as one of the youngest senior advocate by the High Court of MP in the year 2008. His talent was immediately noticed, and he was elevated as a judge in the enrolled bench, High Court of Madhya Pradesh. Later on, he went on to serve as the acting Chief Justice of Telangana High Court and then Chief Justice of Karnataka and Delhi High Court. Lordship as an avid reader and is known for his contribution to various universities. And when it comes to justice, he is deeply concerned and committed to judicial system, has shown many exemplary commitments while acting as judge in the respective high courts. With this, may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Satish Chand Sharma, Justice Supreme Court of India, to kindly deliver his address.
I have been warned to keep it as short as possible by my seniors. Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Dr. Justice D.Y. Chanchud, Honorable Judges of the Supreme Court of India, Shri R. Venkat Ramani, Learned Attorney General of India, law officers of the central government and the state government, Shri Adish Agrawala, President, Supreme Court Bar Association, and other office bearers, respectable senior advocates, and all who are present today, members of the registry. A very good evening to one and all. It's a matter of great pleasure to be here today. God has been very kind in bestowing this honor upon me. Back in 1984, when I came on the roll of Bar Council of Madhya Pradesh, I could not have imagined that almost 40 years down the line, I would be standing amidst you all to share that a dream has come true. To serve in the apex court of the land is unarguably the highest honor for any person in the legal profession. Today, as I stand here, I cannot help but reminisce about the journey of last 40 years. As you have been told that I was born in a family of agriculturists and educationists. After having my interest with science in graduation, I opted for law and finished my LLB in 1984. Since then, life has been an everyday encounter with law in different capacities. I consider myself extremely fortunate that I got opportunity to serve the people of 4 states of this country. It was natural for me to have an affinity with my home state, Madhya Pradesh, but I found it truly special to have served in Karnataka, Telangana, and Delhi. During my tenure at these places, I got the opportunity to witness the diversity and culture of these places. The people, the language, the culture, the festival are some of the attributes that I got to witness there. Even from my legal standpoint, the nature of cases differ from places to place. The concerns and demeanor of the litigants also varied. However, the golden thread that binds different places of this country is the Constitution. In light of my experience, I can confidently say that our constitutional values continue to inspire and improve the lives of the citizens of this country. As the judges, we go from one high court to another. We go as ambassadors of the Constitution, and wherever I served, I tried my best to do justice to my role as the ambassador of the Constitution. I am confident that the experiences that I have had in Madhya Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, Delhi shall be useful for me while discharging my duties on the bench of this court. Friends, we all stand here in different capacities from time to time and learn about journeys of different people, judges and lawyers. The inherent purpose behind this exercise is to send across a message to our younger members of the bar that sky is the limit for those who have an honest vision in their heart and have the will to execute it with hard work. At the same time, we must acknowledge a duty to provide a desirable learning environment in the courts, in terms of encouraging young members of the bar by providing them a suitable learning place. Despite the intensity of causes that land here, this court has been at the forefront. It is indeed a matter of great honor that I am embracing the same culture. In fact, I never got an opportunity to speak about my wife, but today I would like to say a few words about her. She is more educated than me. She holds a PhD degree in biotechnology. She holds Masters of Computer Application and whatnot. She would have been a president of some multinational company by now. But keeping in view my profession, she left a job. And she looked after my kids, my family. So I'm really grateful to her for sacrificing her career. The function performed by the judges, especially by the judges of this court, is best described by the official motto of this court, Yato Dharmastoto Jaya, which means where there is dharma, there is victory. The functioning of this court has evolved over the course of time. However, the commitment of dharma, of justice, has remained a constant. With this, I again thank Honorable Chief Justice of India and other honorable judges of the Collegium, other judges of the Supreme Court of this august court for this honor. I thank the Supreme Court Bar Association for organizing this function and for making us feel at home. Thank you and Jai Hind. I hope I was short as possible.
Thank you, sir. But one thing I have to add, she is very good painter also. And I have great expectation from your lordship that your endeavor as an advocate and experience as the Chief Justice of High Courts shall guide the entirety of bar and bench and shall serve justice to all who search for it. Thank you, sir. Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine George Masih. He was born on 12th of March 1963 at Ropar, Punjab. He completed his graduation from Kasoli, Himachal Pradesh, LLB honors from Aligarh Muslim University, UP. Lordship was enrolled as an advocate with Bar Council of Punjab and Haryana on 6 June 1987. He practiced at several tribunals at Punjab and Haryana. During his practice at the Punjab and Haryana High Court, he held the post of Assistant Advocate General, Deputy Advocate General, Additional Advocate General of Punjab. Later on 10th July 2008, he was elevated as a judge of Punjab Haryana High Court till he was elevated as a Chief Justice of Rajasthan High Court. Justice Augustine used to say, the member of the bar, कि we come from you. हम बार से ही बेंच में आए हैं. With this, may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Augustine Judge Masih, Judge Supreme Court of India, to kindly deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Honorable brother judges, on the dais and off the dais, Learned Attorney General, President, the Vice President, and the Secretary, apart from the office bearers of the Bar Association, senior advocates, members of the bar, members of the registry and staff, and dear friends. Well, I am from Aligarh. I've studied from Aligarh. I've always been there since I actually started understanding life. From 9th onwards till my graduation, I was in Aligarh Muslim University. And if someone is there from Aligarh, and I've met one or two of them, they would know what a person who comes to a hostel in the Aligarh Muslim University has to see and learn. So he's called a fresher. Well, as we are to some extent here, as far as the Supreme Court is concerned. And there was thereafter an evening which was called the introduction period. So I would take it in that spirit, and let me share something about me, which I think would be relevant for you also, and maybe for the youngsters. I didn't want to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a manager, and I was trying for the MBA. My friends told me when I didn't succeed in my first attempt, since law is connected and you want to study and you have to prepare, so stay back in the hostel and do law. कहावत थी, जो नहीं कुछ करता वो लॉ करता है. तो ऐसे हम वकालत में आए. But yes, the best part of it was, within 2 months I realized that this is where I belong. And then I dropped the idea of management and everything. And I moved into law seriously. Completed my law. Unfortunately, I had to go to Chandigarh back, because that was where my family was. So there, none knew me, because I hadn't planned to go to Chandigarh, but I had to go there. Only one peon of a senior knew me from my younger days when I was in Ropar. So that's what I have, the introduction in Chandigarh. I went there. Fortunately, the senior had a vacancy. I joined his office, and rest, things moved on. God had been really kind. Went into the office of the Advocate General, remained there, got an elevation. Never thought of it, couldn't dream of it. And then Chief Justice, and now before you all. I'm only wanting to say that this is one area where if you really work hard, you can achieve. Your talent is identified. Your efforts are looked into. and there is always chance of moving up. We had heard so many things, and we do hear so many things as to who are elevated to the bench. But here's a person standing in front of you who had no connections whatsoever with law. I'm the first generation, first person who have studied law. But therefore it happens. It happens. Things move. It's your commitment, it's your hard work, your sincerity, which actually pays. Well, obviously, it's the grace of God Almighty. That's the first thing. It's His blessings. And if you keep God first, and then your work, things are going to move. I won't take much of your time anymore. I'll simply say, I just want to thank God for giving me an opportunity to be here with you all. I thank the Chief Justice and the Collegium for giving me an opportunity to be a part of the Supreme Court. I know with your assistance, your cooperation, and with your efforts, everything would be good for me, as it has been always. I just want to say one more thing. Be patient, be calm, and take things easy. Rest, leave it to God. It will follow. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Sir, we sincerely believe that with your guidance and cooperation, the bar and bench will take a step towards the betterment of legal fraternity. Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, he was born on 11 January 1961 at Jodhpur in Rajasthan. He did his graduation in BSc and obtained his degree in law from Jodhpur University. He enrolled himself as an advocate in the Bar Council of Rajasthan on 8th of August 1986. Lordship's maternal grandfather, late Sri Magdumal Singhvi, who was renowned legal luminary, under whose guidance, inspiration and encouragement, Lordship learned and skill and art of advocacy. He practiced extensively in trial courts and high courts and also Supreme Court, in almost all the branches of law having specialization in criminal and constitutional matters. He was elected as member of Bar Council of Rajasthan in the year 2003 and Vice Chairman of Bar Council of Rajasthan in the year 2004 and 5, then as the chairman in the year 2010, which reflects his popularity amongst the lawyers throughout the state of Rajasthan. Lordship had a reputation as a firebrand lawyer in the state of Rajasthan. His merits and qualities were soon acknowledged and he was appointed as a judge of his enrolled bench, state of Rajasthan, 30th of May 2011. He is an outstanding and dignified judge. Apart from being a great human being and versatile personality, he is known for his simplicity, legal acumen, patience, and quick disposal of the cases. As judge, he always displayed an unfailing punctuality and deep commitment and absolute devotion to duties. With this, may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Sandeep Mehta, Judge Supreme Court of India, to deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice of India, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachud, my esteemed colleagues on and off the dais, then Attorney General Sri R. Venkatramani, Dr. Adish Agarwala, President SCBA, Office Bearers of the SCBA, Office Bearers of SCORA, learned senior advocates, Secretary General and members of the registry, members of the bar, ladies and gentlemen, a very, very good evening to one and all. My sincere thanks to the SCBA for organizing this felicitation ceremony for us, the newly elevated judges. First of all, I express my sincere gratitude to the God Almighty for having given me this opportunity to serve the country as a judge in the apex court of the country. My sincere thanks to Honorable Chief Justice and the members of the Collegium who bestowed faith in me and recommended my elevation to the Supreme Court in November 2023. Before my elevation to the Supreme Court, I served as the Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court from 15 February 23 to 8th of November 23. The trust shown in me by Honorable the Chief Justice and the members of the Collegium by appointing me as the Chief Justice gave me an opportunity of lifetime. Soon after my elevation, the Platinum Jubilee celebrations of the Guwahati High Court were organized, which was an event of huge magnitude and was appreciated generously. The experience of working as the Chief Justice in the northeast corner of the country was truly enlightening. The subtle guidance given to me during this period by Honorable Justice Hrishikesh Roy, with his ever so gentle demeanor, was a beacon of light to me. The tremendous support of the Assam government in making provision for upgradation of the judicial infrastructure in the state of Assam was remarkable. Honorable the Chief Minister of Assam, Dr. Mehta Sharma, who is himself a lawyer by profession, responded positively to every request made by the High Court for betterment of the judicial infrastructure without any hesitation. I truly appreciate his continued support to the judiciary in the state of Assam. Working as the Chief Justice of the Guwahati High Court gave me an opportunity to get the grand building of the High Court bench at Aizawl inaugurated at the hands of Honorable the Chief Justice on 2nd of September. A very generous gesture shown to me by Honorable Chief Justice at the time of my elevation to the Supreme Court shall always remain in my heart. As the signing of the warrant of appointment was delayed after the recommendation by the Collegium, I did not get the chance to attend the farewell function organized by the High Court. When Honorable Chief Justice came to know that I was very keen to participate in the farewell ceremony before my elevation, he immediately directed the Registry of the Supreme Court to set up a video conferencing facility in the chamber at Supreme Court from where I could address the farewell ceremony organized by the Guwahati High Court. My sincere thanks to you, sir. This was one of the many examples of the innovative approach of Honorable Chief Justice of India, that he could manage to give me the opportunity for addressing the farewell ceremony being organized at Guwahati while sitting at Delhi. After my elevation to the bench, I have had the great opportunity of sharing the dais with stalwarts like Honorable Justice B.R. Gavai, Honorable Justice Anirudh Bose, Honorable Justice Hrishikesh Roy, Honorable Justice Oak, Honorable Justice Vikram Nath, Honorable Justice Narasimha, amongst others. My esteemed brothers have guided me in understanding the nitty-gritties of an entirely new work environment, which has truly helped me to overcome the challenge of a new ball game, which is really quite daunting. Friends, I myself, as has been said by my previous speakers, I was a two-time member of the Bar Council of Rajasthan before my elevation to the bench. I'll tell you that the lawyer in me continues to remain active even as on date. During my tenure as a judge in the Rajasthan High Court, I searched for opportunities to create better infrastructure for the practicing lawyers across the state of Rajasthan whenever I was given a district to supervise. In many districts, I could ensure the construction of chambers for the lawyers, which has helped them in performing their duties. Even in Assam, while approving a new judicial township, my focus was to see that proper working environment is provided to the lawyers in that state. In this endeavor, I got a huge shot in the arm when Brother Justice Ujjal Bhuyan, in a felicitation program organized by the Bar Association, appreciated the efforts of the Guwahati High Court and implored the members of the bar to support the High Court's efforts. During my tenure of around 13 years and 9 months on the bench, I've always tried to take up the issues relating to environment. I am grateful that I have got the opportunity to work on the green bench with Honorable Justice Gavai, which is like a dream come true to me. I would like to give a small advice to young lawyers. During my career as an advocate, I was continuously practicing in the trial courts. My mentors were my late maternal grandfather, Sri M.M. Singhvi Advocate, and my guru, late Sri D.S. Shishodia, Senior Advocate, both lions of the bar. The true mettle of a lawyer is tested in the trial courts. That is the forum where a lawyer can really understand the application of the procedural and substantive laws to the facts of the case in the proper perspective. So, every new entrant who has chosen law as a profession, my advice would be that you must spend the first 3 to 4 years of your career working in the trial courts with a good senior. Once again, I express my gratitude to the Supreme Court Bar Association for organizing this wonderful program for felicitating us, the newly elevated judges of the Supreme Court. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Lordship. Honorable Mr. Justice Prasanna Bhalachandra Varale was born on 23rd June 1962 in city of Nipani in Belgaum district of Karnataka. Lordship did his graduation with degree in art and law from B.R. Ambedkar Marathwada University. On 12th of August 1985, Lordship was enrolled in the Bar Council of Maharashtra and Goa. He joined the chamber of Sri S.N. Loya. In his 23 years as practicing lawyer, he has practiced mainly in civil and criminal side. He also served as a lecturer in Ambedkar Law College, Aurangabad, and also worked as an additional government pleader before he was elevated as a judge to Bombay High Court on 18 July 2008. He was spent major part of his life at Aurangabad. Lordship was known to be a most patient and compassionate and relief-giving judge. Lordship had taken so much cognizance with regard to plight of young girls from the village Satara who used to walk several miles by rowing boats for more than 4 kilometers daily to attend their schools. With this, may I request Honorable Mr. Justice Prasanna Bhalachandra Varale, Judge Supreme Court of India, to deliver his address.
Honorable the Chief Justice, Dr. D.Y. Chandrachudji, my respected brother judges, learned Attorney General Sri Venkataramaniji, senior advocates, President of Supreme Court Bar Association Sri Agarwalaji and his team members, members of the registry, ladies and gentlemen. It really gives me an immense pleasure to stand before this august gathering. My heartfelt thanks to the Supreme Court Bar Association for arranging this warm welcome to me and my brother judges. I always say, and I mean, that I am very fortunate to be part of a family blessed by none other than the great son of this country, Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar. And it was the Midas touch of Dr. Ambedkar, that is because his touch to my family members, today I am here before you. I may quote a few lines describing what Babasaheb Ambedkar means for me and thousands of like me. These are the words of a poem from a great Marathi poet, Suresh Bhatt. He says, कालचे सारे मुके आज बोलू लागले, अन तुझ्या सत्या सवे शब्द तोलू लागले. Meaning thereby, those were speechless for centuries. Today, they can speak. There are words on their lips. This is only because you. तू दिले आकाश आम्हा तू नेले कुठे, तू दिले आकाश आम्हा तू नेले कुठे, तू दिले पंख हे पिंजरे गेले कुठे. You gave us wings, not only wings, you gave us the sky to fly, and today we are the free birds. This is what Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar gave to me and thousands of me in this country. It is always said that the bar and the bench are the two wheels of the chariot of justice. Very true. Again, I was very lucky in this aspect also. At every stage, as a lawyer, a young lawyer entering in the bar, a lawyer practicing in the High Court at the bench of Aurangabad, a judge of the Bombay High Court, and Chief Justice of Karnataka High Court, at every stage, I could receive the guidance, assistance, and cooperation from the members of the bar. I am sure and I am hopeful that here also I will receive the same guidance, same assistance, and same cooperation from the bar. When my name was recommended by the Honorable the Collegium, somebody asked me, now what you would do? It was just an innocent query, but it reminded me an incident. The senior members may be aware of a great parliamentarian, Barrister Nath Pai. Young members may not, but I am sure the senior members are aware of the great parliamentarian, Barrister Nath Pai, who was hailed by a dear friend, colleague, and a great person, Atal Bihari Ji Vajpayee. When he first contested the election and won the election, a reporter asked him, though he was barrister, he thought of contesting election and was active in social life. So the reporter asked him, so what you would do now? And in reply, he quoted a Sanskrit shlok, and it reads, he said, No taham kamaye rajyam na swargam na punarbhavam. No taham kamaye rajyam na swargam na punarbhavam. Kamaye dukkha tapta anam praninam arshanam. Meaning thereby, hey Lord, hey God, I don't want a kingdom. I don't want luxuries. I don't want heaven. I don't even want the nirvana or mukti. Please give me an opportunity to wipe a few tears from some eyes. And if that I could do, I'll be always grateful to you. I think what I could do little in whatever my way, if I can wipe out few tears from some eyes, I think that would be something I would be happy for it. Once again, thank you very much for inviting me for this warm welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your kind words. Lordships, आपके लिए वन कपलेट. हर गली अच्छी लगी, हर घर अच्छा लगा. वो जो आए शहर में तो शहर भर अच्छा लगा. लॉर्डशिप, आप आए, हम लोगों को अच्छा लगा. वी आर हैप्पी टू सी योर लॉर्डशिप. Now, our true leader of the bench, Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Sir, before I call you to deliver your address, we'd love to thank you on behalf of this bar and its members. And our Chief Justice's visionary leadership has not only shaped legal jurisprudence, but has also fostered a judiciary that is accessible, transparent, and efficient. Lordship's visionary thinking has led to the digitalization of multiple courts across India, with the belief that the inaccessibility of justice to one is the failure of justice for all. Now, may I request Honorable Dr. Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, Honorable the Chief Justice of India, to deliver his address.
My distinguished colleagues in the Supreme Court, dignitaries, and members of the bar. I think we have to professionalize many of our functions which we hold. And step one is to stop having this long list of names which we call out at the beginning of every speech. If we save about 1.5 minutes, and on an average there are 6 to 7 people who have to speak, you save about 10 minutes. And then if you don't have a vote of thanks, you save another 5 minutes. I think we have to begin somewhere, and let's start it here. If there is a broad consensus amongst all of us, the colleagues I'm sure are on board, and the members of the bar also. So I began without doing the conventional, very eulogistic beginning. I must also appreciate the SCBA at the outset for issuing the invitations for today's function in Hindi, English, Bangla, Marathi, Urdu, Kannada, and Assamese, and Oriya also. I was almost going to say that if it was not in Oriya, Mr. Patijoshi would have a little bit of explanation to do, but Oriya is included as well. Yes. Please join me in welcoming Justice Satish Sharma, Justice Masih, Justice Augustine Masih, Justice Sandeep Mehta, and Justice Prasanna Varale to the Supreme Court. With their elevation, the Supreme Court is once again operating at its maximum mandated strength. Even more importantly, it has the occasion of benefiting from the diversity of their experience as lawyers, as judges, and above all, as students of the law. But in terms of the sheer energy which they have brought, you can rest assured that the Supreme Court is brimming with energy. Let me say a few words. I know it's the end of the day, but I can't possibly miss this occasion to say a few words about each of our colleagues who have been appointed and whose appointment we celebrate today. Let me begin with Justice Satish Chandra Sharma. As we've heard earlier, Justice Sharma's journey in Bhopal began in a household dedicated to the cause of education and public service. It is little wonder that Justice Sharma himself went on to complete his legal studies as a National Merit Scholar and graduated top of his class with 3 gold medals before embarking on his professional journey. As an advocate, he began his professional journey in Jabalpur. He was one of the youngest advocates to be designated as a senior counsel. And before entering the portals of the Supreme Court, he was with the High Court of Madhya Pradesh, then Karnataka, Telangana, and Delhi. Across his practice in the High Courts and during the course of his time on the bench, Justice Sharma has consistently advanced the cause of justice. At the Karnataka High Court particularly, he has brought justice to people on the fringes of society. In Karnataka, a bench comprising Brother Satish directed the state to expeditiously provide Braille textbooks for children with visual impairments. Later in the Delhi High Court, Justice Sharma noted the state's failure to enforce minimum reservations mandated for persons with disabilities. Tying the principle of anti-discrimination with dignity, he noted, and I'll quote just one sentence, "Instead of providing an equal space to grow, we have been compelling the persons with disabilities to prove time and again that they are capable of a lot more than we think." It is indeed challenging for me to highlight to you Justice Sharma's most significant contributions because there are so many. He has issued directions to spread awareness about the development schemes for prisoners and their dependents. On another occasion, he directed the implementation of the Supreme Court's directions against manual scavenging. in directing state-run Kendriya Vidyalayas to implement reservations for persons with hearing impairments. He noted with anguish how persons with disabilities were being made to run from pillar to post. Most striking to me is this opening paragraph of his judgment, which began thus: "Once again, we have before us some of our fellow citizens who have been trying to secure equal and dignified treatment in the eyes of the state. Justice Satish Sharma's avowed goal, in his own words, is justice to the litigants. In that, even beyond sensitivity, he has shown compassion towards a fellow citizen as an equal and not as someone who is at the mercy of the judge." Today, he began by a little confession when he recognized the contribution of his spouse, Mrs. Mehta Sharma. To use Mr. P.H. Parikh's analogy, your permanent president of the SCBA. What Justice Satish Chandra Sharma said about his gracious spouse can be treated as a reportable judgment. Let me say a few words about Justice Augustine Masih. A look at his early life and education will tell you that from the very initial stages of his life, he has traveled across the country. Brother Augustine's parents worked as staff nurses at the Linlithgow TB Hospital in Kasoli before his father joined the Safdarjung Hospital in Delhi, and thereafter his parents moved to Kuwait. As an advocate of the Punjab and Haryana High Court, Justice Masih handled cases from across different regions, spanning a diverse range of practice areas including public law, employment, and civil law. He is widely regarded by the bar and bench at the Rajasthan High Court as one of the hardest working and, allow me to say, workaholic judges. One would often find him in his office quite late into the night. We know that he has on occasion held midnight hearings to resolve matters that required his urgent attention. As the adage goes, justice never sleeps. We now have at the Supreme Court a judge that, well, sleeps quite late. Very often my registrars in the listing branch call me up at 10 or 10:30 and say there's an urgent request for listing, some demolition is going to take place. Now I know whom to nominate. Justice Masih shares my passion for tech-enabled courtrooms and accessible infrastructure. As I recently witnessed, under the leadership of Justice Masih, the Rajasthan High Court has undertaken various measures to make the courts of the state accessible and easy to navigate. We recently inaugurated the Paperless Courts Initiative and the High Court's Telegram channel. These were, of course, among the several other initiatives, including video conferencing between the principal seat in Jodhpur and the bench in Jaipur, Wi-Fi-enabled court complex, and many others. Justice Masih has upheld the values of perseverance and judicial discipline in his work. In hearing an interim bail application, Justice Masih highlighted how the High Court not only had the power, but a duty to safeguard the life and liberty of people. The Constitution and our laws provide judges with extraordinary powers to ensure that procedure, which is an enabler, does not become an inhibitor of justice. Justice Masih, in his own words and actions alike, has framed this power as a duty, and that to me is the most remarkable attribute of his judicial personality. Judges must act in the service of the people, not because they can, but because they are supposed to. They must answer the constitutional duties and not treat them as powers to serve the cause of justice in the truest sense of the term. Let me speak a little bit about Justice Sandeep Mehta, who hails from the blue city of Jodhpur. Before his elevation, he practiced across courts of his home states and also before the Supreme Court. His reputation as a criminal law expert who has practiced widely across the courts at all levels of the judiciary precedes him. He always credits his trial court practice for his keen attention to detail and precision, particularly the years he spent in the chambers of his maternal grandfather. Besides serving on the State Bar Council, which we were told about earlier, he was counsel for commission in 3 judicial inquiry commissions. Before the Supreme Court, Justice Mehta served at the Rajasthan High Court and Guwahati High Court. Our practice at the bar in many ways shapes our perspectives while on the bench. Justice Sandeep Mehta's association with the law at the grassroots has contributed to his vision as a judge. We frequently see his judgments on a range of constitutional and criminal law matters, which offer a glimpse into the workings of a judicial mind capable of sifting the grain from the chaff. His journey and his practice serve as an inspiration to many young lawyers who, despite the compelling attractions of constitutional court practice, continue to work at the courts of first instance. Justice Mehta's orders and judgments, mostly succinct, strike a beautiful balance between law and the factual realities of the parties before him. In one such case before Justice Sandeep Mehta, a juvenile who was refused bail on the ground that the bail would bring him in contact with known offenders, Justice Mehta, in a short and crisp order, held that the apprehension was baseless and could be easily resolved by an undertaking by the legal guardians of the juvenile. This, he said, was a natural extension of the fundamental right under Article 21. A lesser known fact to most of you, Justice Sandeep Mehta has been instrumental in the conservation of Deepor Bheel, a freshwater lake that is also a Ramsar site in Guwahati. In a PIL before the High Court, a bench comprising of Justice Mehta issued a list of directions and suggestions regarding encroachments and dumping of effluents in the lake. He suggested that the harmful and intrusive plant species infesting the lake could be used for handicraft items, and that the state should consider ways of promoting tourism and employment around the site in an eco-friendly manner. He is truly a solutions-driven judge who is interested in finding a middle ground for competing interests. Justice Sandeep Mehta steered the Guwahati High Court into its Platinum Jubilee earlier this year, which I had the pleasure to be a part of. I can testify that he has made lasting changes to the infrastructure of not only the High Court, including initiatives to set up a new High Court complex in North Guwahati across the Brahmaputra. Justice Mehta has also made strides in enhancing access to courts in the state, both physically and digitally. We can understand what digital connectivity means for courts today, even more so for a High Court that presides over as many states as the Guwahati High Court. In Justice Mehta, we have not only a skilled judge, but also an astute administrator. Let me say a few words about Justice Prasanna Varale. Justice Varale hails from Nipani in Karnataka, nestled on the border of Maharashtra. He started his academic career at Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar Marathwada University, studying arts and law before enrolling as an advocate. Interestingly, but almost as if it were preordained, Justice Varale's family shared a close connect with Dr. Babasaheb Bhimrao Ambedkar, and he has often credited Dr. Ambedkar's blessings and mentorship for shaping his journey as he did today. Justice Varale's grandfather was taken to the erstwhile Aurangabad, as it was called, by Dr. Ambedkar and appointed as a superintendent of a college set up by Babasaheb. Notably, it was Dr. Ambedkar who guided Justice Varale's father towards education in the law. Sri Bhalachandra Varale, his father, became a judicial officer and eventually served as the registrar of the Bombay High Court. With the statue of Dr. Ambedkar overseeing the Supreme Court premises, the symbolic presence of Dr. Ambedkar's guidance and counsel will persist with Justice Varale, as indeed with all of us, and his family as he assumes office in the Supreme Court. He had an illustrious practice at the bar and dabbled in a wide range of subjects as a lawyer in the district court and constitutional matters at the High Court bench in Aurangabad. Dr. Ambedkar, who supplemented his legal practice with teaching, like him, Dr. Varale also served, Prasanna Varale also served as a lecturer in law at the Ambedkar Law College, Aurangabad. While serving in the Bombay High Court and later in Karnataka at the High Court, Justice Varale was widely recognized as a public-spirited judge, a judge who did not shy away from complementing his razor-sharp judicial mind with his ability to adjudicate from his heart with compassion and sensitivity. Benches headed by Justice Varale initiated several suo motu cases and took up issues of immense public importance. For instance, Justice Varale's bench took suo motu cognizance and prevented a famous daily from publishing pictures, videos, and interviews of a victim of sexual assault. He was widely credited for that judgment. Similarly, Justice Varale acted with empathy when government authorities raised technical objections, such as the failure to link Aadhaar cards to prevent members of the tribal communities from receiving the benefits of subsidized food grains. Justice Varale's sensitivity can best be understood in his own words when he observed, "It is a disheartening situation for us when we, the fortunates, are eagerly awaiting, as the festive season is approaching, and the festival of lights would spread joy and happiness in society throughout the state or the whole nation. Here are the few petitioners who are the members of the marginalized section in general and tribals in particular who have approached this court on a grievance that they have been deprived of basic requirements of a human life. The Supreme Court has become richer with the addition of a judge who brings profound sensitivity and a deep understanding of the challenges faced by our marginalized citizens, those for whom this People's Court truly stands. In conclusion, as I welcome my brothers to the bench, I would like to share my 2 cents of wisdom as someone who has been here at the Supreme Court for a little while longer. Consider this also to be my advice to the young lawyers out there. There is a vast body of literature on how judges must decide and what goes into legal decision making in general. While the knowledge of the law and the context of its enactment are important, it is ultimately the understanding of people's problems that makes us better lawyers and judges. I believe decision making is somewhat like, to borrow the words of a distinguished scholar, riding a bicycle. If you are teetering out of control, it is unlikely that a complicated theory will help you to restore the balance. In the moments of imbalance, we are unlikely to find solutions in very complicated theoretical statements of the law or policy. The stabilizing influence in such moments of crisis is often a very simple idea of justice. The strength of a simple idea lies in the fact that it comes from the vast experience of a judge, as a lawyer, as a student of the law, and as a discerning, observing member of this society. Legal power is not enough for a judge. The stronger tool is their desire to understand human life. The journeys of Justice Satish Sharma, Justice Augustine Masih, Justice Sandeep Mehta, and Justice Prasanna Varale demonstrate their commitment to understanding human life and to improving it with the help of our laws. I would like to welcome them to the Supreme Court. In what has come to become my tradition for events at the bar, I would like to conclude with these lines, this time from a ghazal from the legendary Jagjit Singh. तेरे आने की जब खबर महके, तेरी खुशबू से सारा घर महके. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you so much, sir. May I request senior members of the Executive Committee, please come on the dais. Mr. Arjit Prasad, Mr. Jain Bhushan, Mr. Ranjit Thomas, Mr. Dinesh Kumar Goswami, Mr. Narendra Hudda, Mr. Wasim Kadri, to present a memento to the Honorable Judges. May I request Mr. Minesh Dubey, Joint Secretary, SCBA, to deliver his vote of thanks.
Thanks, Rohit. As our head of the family, Honorable Chief Justice of India, has directed us to drop the vote of thanks, I simply say thanks to all of you for joining us. I request EC member to come on dais for photograph and later on join for high tea on ground floor.